Hello all of you beautiful people, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, and today we're talking about video games and some rather unsightly PR blunders. Now, in this day and age, what with the rise of social media clout, companies far and wide have to be very, very careful with their image and how they approach the public. Release a game with questionable content and people might help you cut your energy costs by burning your company to the ground. However, even though a lot of the biggest companies in the industry are seemingly faceless to the public, they are still made up of real people with real emotions. Sometimes they endure a storm of hate and come out stronger, like No Man's Sky for example, but other times, as is the case in this list, they choose to fight back with pretty disastrous results. So come today and gather round and listen to a 32-year-old bold man who insults you daily with poor your mum jokes, and let him tell you about the times that others pointed the finger and had them bitten off. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 times video game developers publicly insulted their player base. Side note, the mum joke should never be taken personally, as the real comedy in that scenario is that I actually have the charm to even talk to a woman successfully. My life sucks. Number 8. League of Legends dev wishes death upon a streamer. League of Legends is one of the most popular games streamed on Twitch, and one of its biggest streamers is Tyler Steinkamp, known primarily as Tyler1. Steinkamp made a name for himself due to his, let's just say, less than friendly in-game behavior, which included him trolling other teammates and aggressively insulting other players, which eventually led to him getting banned. Developer Riot Games understandably didn't want their game to be associated with this type of player, and they clearly wanted to make LOL as welcoming an environment as possible. I mean, they haven't actually achieved that, but it was a step in the right direction, I guess. However, that was just the company line, as Aaron Rutledge decided to take things a lot further, expressing his dislike of Steinkamp on a public Discord server where he called the streamer a homunculus, likened him to a terrorist, and even said that it would be fine if he died from an overdose or testicular cancer. Rutledge later issued an apology because, surprise, surprise, wishing death on people isn't okay, but that didn't stop him from being let go by Riot Games shortly after. Number 7. David Jaffe hits back at uncivil Twisted Metal fan. David Jaffe is known for having a bit of a mouth on him, but to give this guy some credit, he is most certainly not afraid to speak his mind and publicly back up his own views and beliefs. And sometimes, as you might expect, this can lead to things getting a bit heated, as happened in the run-up to 2012's Twisted Metal reboot on the PS3. Things kicked off when a fan went on a racist rant on the fan site Twisted Metal Alliance that was sparked when the soundtrack to the game would feature rap music on it. Jaffe didn't take too kindly to these comments and proceeded to go on a rant of his own, which contained more swear words than an episode of The Thick of It, and I'll leave it here on screen for a few seconds for you to enjoy. Nice. Well, talk about being put in your place, right? Number 6. David Jaffe then tells a games journalist that he sucks at his job. So as you might expect from the previous entry, Jaffe was on a bit of a rampage before Twisted Metal came out, and everyday fans weren't the only people that he had in his crosshairs. He also took shots at games journalists too. Back in 2012, online passes were all the rage, serving as a way for publishers to make some money on the used games market. While Jaffe didn't want an online pass for Twisted Metal, he had no say in the matter, and Sony unfortunately lumped the game with one. In response to the news, Game Taffy published an article called David Jaffe Sold Out, which criticised the man in question for failing to fight back against Sony's decision. Jaffe wasn't pleased with many of the assumptions that the article made and responded in typical fashion, with a lot of insults, which I will leave up on screen for a few more seconds for you to enjoy because it's actually a bit longer. God, that is a long quote. How you doing, by the way? No, don't stop reading. Take your time. Me? Yeah, I'm good. I had some beetroot potato salad for lunch. Made it myself. Made my own mayo as well, yeah. Nah, not got much after work. Just gonna go work on the board game channel for a bit. You should check it out if you got the time. Live and Let's Dice. Yeah. Anyway, we should probably carry on, right? The article wasn't trying to be mean-spirited, so Jaffe did go a little overboard here, but it's understandable that he'd be frustrated at being blamed for something that wasn't his choice. But he's certainly got fizzy blood, that's for sure. Number 5. Daniel Klein calls fans man babies amidst Riot Games' sexism allegations. Another Riot Games developer who took things a bit too far in public forums was Daniel Klein, who used to work at the company as a systems designer. Used to being the operative word, because in 2018 Riot was accused of having a toxic workplace, including but not limited to sexism allegations, and naturally this led many people who worked at the company to voice their own opinions on the subject and share their stories. Klein was one of the employees who did just that. In the aftermath of the accusations against Riot, the company decided to hold a panel at PAX West that was only open to women and non-binary attendees. This drew a lot of criticism from the League of Legends community, so Klein stepped in to defend the decision in a lengthy Twitter thread. Unfortunately, he struggled to stay fully calm while doing so, and this led to him being fired for violating Riot's social media policy. In a series of tweets, Klein referred to outspoken fans as man babies and overgrown toddlers and urged them to grow up. And in the replies to his thread, he also told another person to f*** off. While Klein was absolutely entitled to his own views on this rather sensitive subject, there was probably a nicer way for him to word things than simply resorting to insults with equally derivative statements. Number 4. Battlefield 5 creator accuses players of being uneducated. Since its release in May 2018, the reveal trailer for Battlefield 5 has garnered over 500,000 dislikes. So one has to ask the question, what went wrong here? Well, this backlash stemmed from the perceived historical accuracy issues, including a woman with a metal limb, that many fans found within the game, as well as the fact that the game looked much more arcadey and over the top than the series was used to. The hashtag #NotMyBattlefield soon began to trend, and the fan discontent became so prominent that it managed to draw a response from the game's creators. EA Chief Creative Officer Patrick Soderlund addressed the controversy, and for the most part he responded in a passionate, sensible manner, except for 2 bits. One where he told people that they could either accept the game's creative choices or simply not buy it, and 2, the part where he labelled the group of angry fans as uneducated. Now this was a truly unfair generalisation, considering that a lot of fans who were disappointed with the reveal trailer weren't even complaining about the settings or characters, but the actual gameplay itself. So to be labelled as such, understandably, drew even more anger. Number 3. Phil Fish's colourful response to Fez PC players. Puzzle platformer Fez is one of the best indie games of the decade, but its cute exterior hides a much darker tale, a story of grueling development cycles, delays, and an outspoken creator in the form of lead designer Phil Fish. The game first released on the Xbox 360 as a timed exclusive before hitting Steam a year later. At this stage, the game was discounted by $1, going from $10 to $9, which for some reason resulted in a lot of PC players expressing their disappointment that they were only getting a 10% saving. This rubbed Fish the wrong way, and on Twitter he hit back saying, "If $9 is really too much for you, then please do me a favor and just steal it and shut the f*** up about it." He then cheekily said that he was going to change the game's Steam price to $90, a comment that only poured more petrol on the fire. Of course, he didn't change the price tag to $90 because that would be ridiculous, but his initial response urging people to pirate the game is just bizarre. This wasn't the first time either that he'd insulted his fans, because in 2012 he asserted that gamers are the worst fucking people in response to fans telling him that they planned to pirate Fez. Number 2. Respawn flames Apex Legends players after loot box controversy. Apex Legends plays fantastically, but for many, thanks to the Iron Crown event, is now a title riddled with shady monetization practices. This event came with its own set of limited time cosmetics, and to unlock them all you needed to spend an insane amount of cash. The only way to get everything was to buy shining new Iron Crown packs valued at a staggering 700 in-game coins, meaning that a single pack would set you back £7.99, the cost of a 1,000 coin bundle. There wasn't even a way to guarantee what your pack would contain. You could end up getting something cool like a legendary skin or something as mundane as a music track. You would have to spend theoretically over £150 to unlock all of the new cosmetics, and then extra cash to unlock the other secret DLC bits that were only unlocked when you had all the previous DLC bits. It was honestly a mad way of doing business. The game's official subreddit was flooded with posts slamming Respawn and EA for their scummy tactics. Eventually, Respawn was forced to comment, only when they did, they didn't exactly do so in a professional manner. Players were referred to as asshats, freeloaders, and dicks. Respawn CEO Vince Zampella then responded on Twitter saying that his employees' actions crossed a line and that the company would do better in future. The event was ridiculous in itself, but in many ways it mirrored the responses that the devs gave to their fans, something that the public will soon not forget. At number 1, Randy Pitchford tells multiple fans to F off. Randy Pitchford is a rather odd man, and one would think that he would conduct himself with a bit more professionalism considering that, he's the head of a mega corporation and all, but that doesn't seem to be the case. In recent years, he's come under fire for retweeting a video of a kitten being pinched by a crab. I know, bizarre. Took up arms against Game Informer for a shitty clickbait headline when it wasn't, waged war with Jim Sterling, and has often used expletives in order to let people know what he thinks of them. Following the news that the upcoming Borderlands 3 would be a timed exclusive on the Epic Games Store on PC, players who were looking forward to purchasing the game on Steam were understandably left disappointed, and when they voiced their concerns at Randy, he had some rather colourful words for them all. He told one user to f*** off, troll, and another to go f*** yourself, even though the users in question didn't insult him first or try anything of the sort. I mean, how dare they attack the mighty Randy? All bow to the mighty Randy. Offer your firstborn to Randy, the golden god. Jesus, man, calm down and go watch some magic tricks, if you know what I'm saying. That'll let you blow off some steam. And there we go, those were 8 times that video game developers publicly insulted their players. You might have noticed to yourself, there's no one per list on this, Jules. And I know, I didn't put one in, because I thought to myself, there's enough insults flying around in this list for me to chuck more fuel on the fire, Let's take a break from it for a bit and give each other some love instead of some hate, because as it clearly shows, there's enough going around. So from me to you, what I want to say instead is, I hope you have a lovely day, whatever you're getting up to, because you deserve love, happiness and success like every other human does. And I'm just going to say that some of the people on this list represent a negative side to social media, that it can be used to attack even when we're trying to defend ourselves. So really try to keep that in mind when you go online. Not everything is as it seems, and for most part it's not even actually real, it's just people looking for rises out of others. Don't let anyone make you feel bad for who you are, because no one is allowed to make you feel like that. So be kind to yourself, take a break and ask for help if you need it. Alright? As always, I'm Jules. You can go follow me at RetroJ with a 0 over on Twitter. You have been awesome. Never forget that. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye.